A plus BI. Okay? So I'm going to have to multiply by the conjugate in order to get standard form. What's the conjugate? I take the denominator, you switch the sign in the middle. So I'm going to do 1 minus I, and I have to do the same thing on the top, 1 minus I. Now when I multiply fractions, I have to multiply straight across, and in this case I have two binomials, which means I'm going to have to FOIL them. Okay, so I look at the first one. The numerator, 1 times 1, 1. Outer, inner. So minus I plus I squared. Over. Now do the denominator. FOIL again. 1 times 1 is 1. Minus I plus I minus I squared. Now, do you remember what I squared is equal to? Negative 1. Good. So we have 1 minus I gives me minus 2I plus I squared is a negative 1. Over, what happens in the denominator? What happens to these two pieces? They cancel out. So I get 1 minus, what's I squared again? Negative 1. Okay? Now I need to simplify. I have 1 minus 1 in the numerator. What's that? 0. So 0 minus 2I in the numerator. Do I really need to write the 0? No. And what's in the denominator? 2. Not nothing. 1 minus a negative means plus, right? 1 minus a negative 1. So 1 plus 1 is 2. Now if I want to rewrite that even better, I take the denominator and it applies to both pieces. So what's 0 halves? 0 minus 2 over 2 is 1, or just I. What's the A in this case? 0. What's the B in this case? Negative 1. Actually, I could write it like that in standard form, or they will also accept negative I. Okay? Either one of those answers are okay. Let's look at number 2. So remember, we have to first move this number over to the other side. You remember that? Yeah? So I'm going to bring down this. X squared minus 14x. And what am I supposed to put there? Blank equals negative 1. Now, do you remember how to get this number that goes in the blank? Divide what by 2? Okay, so you divide the b. So it's b over 2, and then you square it. So negative 14 over 2, and then you square it. Negative 14 divided by 2, pay attention, is negative 7 squared is 49. Okay? So what goes in this blank? Plus 49. But remember, this is an equation. You have to keep it balanced. You got to do it to the other side as well. So plus 49. Okay? All right, so when I look at this, this part is now a perfect square, and I can rewrite it as 2 factors. What are the 2 factors? And they have to be identical. It has to be minus 7 and minus 7. And then equals, what's on this side over here? 48. Okay? Now, how could I write this better? X minus 7 squared equals 48. Now what? Yeah? Square root both sides to solve for x. Our goal is to get x by itself. Now, when you write the square root, what do you have to remember to put in front of it? Very good. Plus or minus square root of 48. Is 48 a perfect square? No, so you can leave it like that. And again, we're solving for x. So I still need to add 7 to both sides. So my final answer is positive or negative square root of 48 plus that can also be written as 7 plus or minus square root of 48. And again, if I want to write it separately, I can have x equals 7 plus square root of 48. And what would the other answer be? 7 minus the square root of 48. So these are three different forms of the same answer. That's correct, and that's correct.